Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about the warm-up called eights. Now this may be one of the first warm-ups you've ever done in the percussion world, or especially in the drumline world. The version we're going to do today is called 8-8-16. You'll find as we do this is actually an incredibly versatile warm-up. Once you get the basics of it under your hands, it opens you up to a lot of different possibilities with listening around the ensemble and really improving your chops. So let me show you how this is going to work. What's going to happen here is your right hand's going to get 8 hits, your left hand's going to get 8 hits, and then your right hand's going to double it, get 16. So we have 8, 8, and 16. Then we're just going to turn around and do the whole thing based off the left hand lead. So 8 hits here, 8 hits here, then 16 hits here. Let me show you how it's done. Alright, not so bad. So let me show you how to count this in 4 instead of 8 or 16. You're going to take each one of those strokes and make those into eighth notes. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we're going to count those as 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Makes it a little easier to count this through instead of having to go to 8 and 8 and 16 over and over again, right? So let's go ahead and play this through. We'll count out loud this time. Here we go. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's a lot easier counting that way, right? Let's go ahead and play this through maybe 2 or 3 times. Go ahead and play along with me. I'll count out loud the first time, and then after that you're on your own for the counting. Here we go. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You're on your own this time too. And 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we go again. And 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, sounds good. So let's talk about some things to listen for and some things to try to avoid. Trying to make sure that both hands are sounding even the entire way through the exercise. So if we're doing it right, we're going to get the same velocity, the same bounce back, the same height between both hands. It might look something like this. So you're getting the same sound out of the pad, same height, same downward velocity going into the pad to create that sound. Let me show you an example of hand-to-hand that don't sound so good together. You might have something like... Hear how there are 3 different sounds there? So we're looking for consistency throughout. We might choose to change that throughout the exercise, go for something soft, something medium, or something high the entire exercise, but go for consistency throughout the entire thing. Let's make sure that one hand isn't losing dynamics or gaining dynamics along the way as well. So that might sound something like this. Hear how they're getting louder? So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. And we have to avoid hand fatigue as it goes on too. This happens especially in the 16 part of the 8-8-16. So you might get something that sounds like this. We're fine up to this point, and then all of a sudden, then we're fine again. But since that one's a little longer, You got to put a little more energy in there, trying to make sure that we maintain consistency throughout the entire thing. So if you're doing all that well, you should have one consistent sound throughout the entire exercise every time you play it, no matter what your height is. Now, there are other ways to play this exercise. We can throw in accents, we can throw in dynamics, we can throw in diddles. There's lots of different things we can do. Let me show you an example of this with some crescendos and decrescendos. So in this example, every time a hand plays, that hand is going to go from its softest point, we're going to say to its loudest point. Being careful not to overextend. We never need to go this far back, right? So we're going to call probably about 12 to 15 inches, almost directly parallel. Take two.
That helps, actually.
Alright, so let me show you guys how to do this exercise with some dynamics. So we're going to do some crescendos and some decrescendos. So what's going to happen in the crescendos version is you're going to start off at your softest point, tap heights, right? Just 2 to 3 inches above the head, going all the way up to a full stroke. Don't need to overextend this and have the hand be open and the stick come back to where it would almost hit my shoulder. Alright, so let's make sure we're not going too far back and creating sounds that we don't want. So we're gonna look for something like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going from my softest to my loudest point. We're going to do that on both hands. Careful on the 16 section, the long section. You're going to have a longer time to go from that soft to that loud. We want to make sure we use the entire dynamic range in there and we don't go from here to here real fast. So let's go ahead and play that through a couple times. Show you how it's done. And 5, 6, 7, 8. So you see how we take the entire bar to get through to the dynamics we need, right? We're not just going from here to here suddenly. We're trying to take 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 counts to get there. We do the same thing with decrescendos. We're going to start at the top of our range and go down to the bottom of our range. Here we go. And 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. So, lots of other ways we can do this exercise. In future videos we'll go over some of those options because this actually be a very versatile exercise. We're just going to talk here at the end about ways this exercise can really help you become a better musician though. Because once you get the basics on your hand, 8, 8, 16, 8, 8, 16, I really don't have to think about that pattern. You'll end up playing it so many times it just gets ingrained in your muscles, right? So what else can this do for us? This gives us the chance to listen to other people. That's a big one. Try to match the people next to you. Try to think about your entire ensemble and how you're matching sound. You're going to think about matching yourself hand to hand while you're listening to other people around you. And a really important one, listen to your time. Listen to the metronome. Make sure that each one of those beats is really lining up and not flamming. Right? So getting that time is really crucial along with being able to listen. You'll see how this exercise can really help you out. Alright, thanks guys. Have a good one.